Welcome back to Flipping Gorgeous. In this video, I have another furniture project for you, and I'm excited because we're gonna flip and we're gonna sell this one. I found this solid wood dresser with a matching nightstand on Facebook Marketplace for $100. And we're gonna see if we can take that $100 and flip it into about $1,200. I don't know, that might be a little rich, but I'm going to try to dupe this based off a Pottery barn dresser that I saw. It's kind of got the same lines, the same curvature. So we're gonna try it. We're gonna see how much we could get. We're gonna strip this down. It seems criminal to paint this piece. Would painting it be so much easier? Yes. But I feel like I just have to do this beautiful piece justice by pulling off all of the current kind of like mahogany stain and giving it a beautiful, new, rich kind of like early American stain. We're gonna again dupe it off Pottery barn and see what we can turn this beauty into. If you're new here, my name is Lena. This is Flipping Gorgeous. This is your girlfriend's guide to DIY and home improvement, where I share my projects with you, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and everything that I learn along the way. I'm a mom of 3, and my mission is just to help you take that first messy, imperfect step towards whatever it is you're dreaming about or envisioning. And I've got a really exciting project for you today. I've gotten back to my roots of flipping some furniture. Like, this all started with furniture, because here's the thing, you have to work your way up, right? Like, I started painting furniture before I ever started painting cabinets, or I started rebuilding smaller things before I ever built a fireplace. So you have to start a little as you go, and sometimes it's just fun to get back to your roots. And I really miss flipping furniture. I'm excited for this piece today. We are gonna see what we can make for this money. Mama needs a little shoe money. Actually, no, I don't need shoe money. I need video editor money because I'm a mom of 3. And so we're gonna see if we can flip this so I can get a video editor to help me make these videos. We're gonna get started on that today. Okay, so if you saw my last furniture video, I made some mistakes stripping off the original varnish. Here are the mistakes I made. 1, I lived in the South. It was 95 degrees outside. I did it on my porch because I didn't want to haul the piece all the way over here to my workshop. But today we are doing this in the covered garage. It's a little bit cooler. So that's gonna be helpful, because when I apply the clean strip, when I was doing it outside, it was 95 degrees in the heat. It was drying faster than I could scrape it off. So that was a mistake. And I probably was working in too big of sections. So we're gonna work in smaller sections today. And then we're gonna make sure we use the right sandpaper after getting off that initial layer so that we don't leave any indentations. But it's interesting because this wood has a lot of movement to it. I'm thinking this is oak, just based on all of the movement in the wood. I don't know if I wanna let that shine through, or we might just take it all the way down to make it look like that dupe piece. So we're gonna do that. Step 1 is getting off all this hardware. It's really pretty, but I think I'm gonna change it and I'm gonna update it. Unless I can spray it in more of a brass finish, I don't know. We'll see, but it's a little dated. So I think we can update the hardware to give it a fresher look. Now the piece on Pottery barn, the hardware is over here, but that's because it curves both out. This just curves one way. So we might replace these with more of some bars. We'll see, I haven't gotten quite to the hardware yet. But step number 1 today is just, let's start getting this baby down to the raw wood. I've got a couple hours. I just got back from dropping one of my kids off at their new school. I've got an hour commute now in the mornings, round trip, to get him to and from school. So it's cut off a lot of the time that I have for projects. So I'm trying to be super intentional. Today is Task Tuesday. This is our task for the day. This is what I'm working on while they're at school. So I will be really pleased if I can go ahead and get the top coat off. You can see it's got some imperfections. That's no big deal. That'll take it right off. So we're gonna get started on that. Gotta call it quits for now. Did that for about 2 hours. I got all the varnish off the top, some of it off the side, started getting all the varnish off the drawers. It's a lot of work. That mahogany is dark. I was using a metal scraper, which was fine on the top, but then I switched to a larger plastic one, which was much better. But again, this stuff, I'm like having to work really quick because it's still drying pretty fast. Look how sweaty I am, holy smokes. Anyway, so I'm kind of hoping that I can get back to this later today. I was hoping this was gonna be like a 2-day project, but of course, it's always longer than you think you're gonna take. But yeah, I think it's gonna be a beautiful piece. It's just a little bit challenging because it's big and it's very intricate. There's a lot of curves, which makes it a little bit harder to strip, but I still feel good about stripping it over painting it. So we'll see when I get back out here. All right, we are back at the dresser project. Guys, this drive in the morning to take my son to school is getting to me a little bit. And so I'm finding solace in refinishing this furniture as I fought traffic this morning and my hour and 15-minute round trip commute. I just thought, I'm really ready to get in there and strip that dresser and get lost in this creative project. It's always a lot more work than you think it's going to be. I spent the other day 2 hours while they were at school, and then I spent additional 2 hours to get to where I'm at to now, which is stripping off all the varnish so I can get it to a point where I can sand it. I've been sanding a little bit of the drawers, but you can see it's just, there's a lot of curvature. So it's making it a bit challenging to get it off, but the wood underneath is beautiful. It's so beautiful. But I'm excited. I think this is gonna be just a gorgeous, gorgeous piece. Officially reached the portion of the project, which is the messy middle, the part where, God, it looks worse before it looks better. I'm kind of over it. I go, why am I should have just painted this thing. It would have been so much easier, but I know that that's not the end result I want, so we're gonna keep pushing through. Dang, the thing about just doing a piece that has a lot of curvature to it, like this is such a beautiful piece. It has so much detail, but that detail makes it really hard to get the existing varnish and stain off. I'm out here scrubbing with a wire brush now because I could get only so far until you've got to get a brush just to get into the crevices. Just these little brushes and get right in there and all the little parts. And there's still more to do. I am on day 4 now. This is day 4 of working on this project because again, I'm just working on it when I have a little bit time here and there, when the kids are at school or a little bit after dinner, you know, so I don't know how many hours I have in so far. I'm trying to think. I've probably got 6, 7, 8. I probably have 9 hours in this thing so far. But that's okay. I enjoy every minute of it, except for sometimes when it's like, okay, can all this just please come off now? But we're moving forward. We're gonna go to Home Depot here in a little bit and pick out the stain to match that piece. It's kind of like an early American stain. So we're gonna take a print out, put it up against what they've got at Home Depot and see what the best stain is going to be. And I'm gonna keep working on getting all the little tiny bits and pieces. So this is fully stripped and then we can apply the new stain. I'm also going to be filling in the holes, the existing hardware holes, because I wanna move the placement of the hardware to match that Pottery barn dupe. So instead of doing the bar, I'm going to do 2 pulls. So I have to fill that in. We'll use Bondo and then we'll drill the new holes, put the new hardware in. But look how beautiful look how clean and beautiful those have turned out. I still have a few more of the drawers to do. You can see like what I'm talking about with just like the curvature. It makes it a little bit harder. Again, it's still hot. So the heat aspect, even though I'm in the covered garage, harder to work around, where that stripper just dries really quickly. And my goal is to try to finish this. Today is Saturday. My goal is to try to finish this before the start of the week. Maybe not completely, maybe not the holes, but just get it ready to stain So that's my goal. We're gonna see if we can get it done, because next week I got a lot of different stuff going on, and I'm trying to focus on getting a speech written for a presentation I'm doing on YouTube to some real estate agents. So I've got to focus on that and getting my slides. So I need to have this project wrapped up. I'm kind of doing this thing where I do one project week, physical project, a renovation, a furniture flip, and then 1 week of like intellectual projects. That could be writing, working on a speech, traveling for a speech, working on my book proposal. I got a lot of things going on. Again, I'm a multi-passionate mom of 3, so kind of theming my week. So I gotta wrap this baby up. It is time to do the final finishing touches before we can stain this beautiful dresser. I am sanding everything down with 400 grit sandpaper. This is gonna give it a nice smooth touch, smooth finish before we apply that stain. The other thing that I've done is I went ahead and after the Bondo cured, I took it down with 80 grit. And then so again, just sanding everything with 400 to make it really smooth. The next thing we have to do after I get it sanded down is we're going to drill the new holes for the hardware before we stain. I've got a handy little tool that I'm going to use for that. And then after that's done, we can start staining it. I do think I'm going to go with a gel stain, and I will explain that to you after I finish sanding. Okay, so the piece that I'm trying to duplicate, it did not have the bar pull. So I've drilled these tiny little holes. I filled those up with Bondo and drilled new holes because I'm gonna do the ring pulls like the piece that Pottery Barn has. Using that little tool made it so much easier and faster and accurate. Highly recommend spending the $25 on that tool. I will link it below. But I'm so excited because it's finally ready to stain. And throughout this project, I'm just thinking like, oh my gosh, section by section, layer by layer, stripping away things so that we can reveal what is new. It's just like such a metaphor for life. Sometimes things have to get stripped away from us so that we can become a new version of ourselves. And that's kind of hitting me this week as I do this project. Okay, I'm gonna start with just filling up to about this bottom line of my paint cup. And then we're gonna scoop in a couple tablespoons of the dark walnut here. That's gonna be my my calculation. Let's start with 1 scoop. Let's see what this looks like here. Oh, that's a little wet. That's a little too wet. It's a little too golden-y, I think. All right, now, like I said, I'm testing it on the smaller side piece. Put it a little bit over what we've already done. I'm doing it with the drawers in. I don't know, that way I can just go back after the fact and do the sides. Sometimes having all the drawers out is really cumbersome. I try different ways every time I do something. Sometimes I do it with the drawers off. Today we're trying it with the drawers on. Oh yeah, that color is looking really nice, I think. And then we'll go back over with the staining pad and we'll wipe it all, the excess down. Yeah, I just want to mute that pattern just slightly. It's a little loud. Now, here's the only thing with doing it the drawers in when you get to that side there. I think that's the color we're going for. Again, this is the Pottery Barn that we're trying to dupe. That's looking pretty dang close, I think. That's looking pretty on. My goal was originally to make a 4-figure profit on this piece, and while it turned out so beautiful, what I found is that when you're selling things like on a Facebook marketplace, people are looking for a deal. So here is what I got for both pieces, and I actually ended up selling them separately. I sold this dresser for $150 and I sold the large one for $500, making $650. I have about $150 in it for the actual things itself and the materials. So that's a pretty good profit. Was it as much as I was hoping? Not quite, but I still think it turned out beautiful. It was fun. It gave me some good content to make. I got to be creative, and I'm really excited for the people that bought these because they're both expecting babies and these are going in their nurseries, and it just, I was willing to sell it for a little less because of that. Call me a sucker. But thank you for watching. Tune into the next Flipping Gorgeous project, and remember, just let yourself try something. Why not? Bye.